Woo.
Nice.
Cool. You want to open this up right now, or?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Let's open at the same time when we get the sound of the mics. Maybe it can be a new 3, 2, 1.
The best sound in the world.
Yeah.
Thrive beer. This is like
Sponsor us.
we can cut this up for the sponsoring. The best beer in the world.
Sponsor us. It is good beer, bro.
Hey, it has a bit of this IPA taste, right? So it's
I don't taste any whey protein in it.
acidic. But I like that. I like it like that.
Do you think all people should go to therapy?
No. I mean, there are also people who say, and I used to be a big subscriber to that if you have good friends, you don't need a therapist. Because in essence, I think what therapy does is also, it's just someone who listens to you and reflects back to you what's going on. I think that's super valuable. But I think the main point, what I learned that a good therapist does, is give you the tools to fix shit that you don't know how to fix. And that's something that normally friends also don't really know how to do.
I disagree with you. I don't think that's the purpose of a good therapist. I think a good therapist is able to ask you the questions that allows you to realize there are things that you can not, and I think fix is the wrong way to think about it. I think they can ask you the questions to make you realize that there's some interesting things about yourself that you don't understand, and then they ask you questions to make you want to go and understand those things. I don't think it's about fixing oneself.
Maybe it was for me then, because like for me it was more like the first time I went to therapy, I clearly knew what my issue was, which was jealousy at the time, but I didn't know how to deal with that or how to fix it. And then I needed someone, because I figured, man, so many people have this issue. There must be something that can be done about it. I went to therapy. And I at the moment, blanking on what exactly that was, but it helped. So it was good. So it was successful. Fixed my shit, and then I could carry on with the things.
It's interesting because before I became interested in psychology, I heard the term of like fixing your shit or like people being broken, like fundamentally broken and these sorts of things. But now that I've watched a lot of these podcasts and stuff, like, do you think like from a human essence perspective, like there are people who are like broken and people who like need to fix things? Because when you say fix, then you imply broken.
Yeah, no, maybe it is like an easy way to explain things, but I think there are, let's say, some patterns of living that don't serve you that you want to change.
Yes.
And that's what I mean.
But you first want to understand what's going on.
Yeah. And a big part of that actually for me was as well to see you have certain emotions and to accept that you have these emotions. And that's also a bit like the shadow work thing, right? So it's like accepting that you have a certain response and that is not wrong. There's a reason why you have that response and you try to understand why you have that response. But I think in essence, you just want to function harmoniously with people around you. And if you have some things that make you not function harmoniously, you would like to learn how you can improve that. I guess that's the thing. It's not like fixing.
And yeah. And is it about like functioning? Because I mean, you also say, for example, someone's involved with the wrong group of friends. And so they want to function harmoniously with the people around them, but the people around them are terrible influences. So maybe it's not always about, you get what I'm trying to say? It's not necessarily about functioning harmoniously with the people around you, but it's about understanding yourself, understanding, am I spending time around the people that I actually want to spend my time around? I think that's like when we were talking earlier about like addictions and stuff, especially with alcohol. I think that's one of the biggest things a lot of people face is that they end up in social circles where alcohol, especially in countries, I think like UK or even at like universities, you're in social circles where alcohol is like a huge thing. So if you were to like give up alcohol, you've got to give up that social circle.
Yeah. But like, I mean, that's definitely true, and that's and for some people that's the best thing. And I think for most addictions, people say you
But I
should
think that's
actually
also
let go of your friends.
like often more difficult than giving up the substance is giving up all the associations with
giving the whole environment up. I mean, yeah, sure. I don't know. I've not really been addicted to any substance, at least. So I cannot really comment on that. But yeah, sure. It's just like for me, it was like a very specific thing that I also realized. I think it was maybe also more about how I communicate about how I feel. You know what I mean? Like it was maybe nothing wrong with how I felt, but how I communicate about how I felt. And that was for me like talking and thinking about the fact that your feelings, regardless of what they might be, should never be a taboo. That you should be able to talk about that, and then that in the end does so much. Like just being able to talk about how you really feel, and then you also get feedback from the other person if that person says, "Well, I don't agree with you," and then you're still being able to say, "Well, but this is still how I feel," and then like yeah, I don't know. There's something very grounding in that.
And it's also very beautiful when people can communicate. When like I say to you, Tim, you make me feel scared when your biceps are so big.
Hey,
and
I get that, man. I get that.
And then you're like, you know what? Thank you for explaining. It's like, Michael, you make me feel scared because your dick is so big. You know what I mean? Yep. And then it's like, but when two people are able to talk about their feelings, then you're able to start really understanding each other and like get to like the dance that we spoke about before. But I wanted to ask you a question.
I would never say that though, by the way, because your big dick turns me on. Actually, I don't get scared of it that much.
But what do you think stops people? Because it came up in my therapy session on Tuesday where I was talking about, like I mentioned earlier, inside the thing with work and the thing with, and then later on in the therapy session, we ended up getting like all the way back to like my childhood and like being bullied and stuff like that. And then at first I was like, the fuck you doing? Like, there's nothing interesting here. Like, I wasn't bullied that badly as a kid.
Get back on topic, please.
Yeah. In my mind, I'm like, help me find actual interesting stuff. But she kept on and like we explored it a bit. And then it was really interesting. So I don't know if that particular event that we discussed in the session is linked to something. But what I did recognize is how, I don't even know if it's for me, but how it can be that if you have like a child that is feeling like healthily and naturally and like feeling a lot of emotions. It could be a happy emotion, sad emotion, a curious emotion, and communicating it very passionately. And then you have like a school ground bully that comes along and it's like, fuck you for like dancing and you're a boy, like you fucking gay. And like all of a sudden like turning this into like a really bad thing. The brain can then create that association that it's not okay to express myself authentically and naturally.
Sure, yeah.
And that can become very deep-rooted in the structure of self that we discussed with the whole Paul Conti episode.
Yeah, 100%. Even like your parents, like how your parents react if you share your feelings as a kid. That's a huge thing.
And how they react when they share their feelings to each other. If they do share their feelings to each other.
And if they don't, that also tells you a lot.
Because what's really interesting with my mom and dad is my mom is a very emotional person. Very emotionally driven, feels a lot of emotion. I wouldn't say necessarily expresses her raw emotion, but she expresses herself because emotion drives her a lot. So like a very common thing that my mom would do growing up would be like, she'd be feeling upset about something or angry about something or happy about something, whatever it may be. So she'd like have a glass of wine in the evening. She'd like get a glass of wine, and then she'd go out onto like the patio, and then she'd have the phone, bro, and she just starts phoning her friends, be like fucking phoning them, and then she's talking and like drinking and talking about a random cuck. But like my dad would never do that. My dad would never like just phone his friends on the patio and be like, how's it, but you know, feeling a bit down today. Like, what the fuck? Like, it's just not a thing. So also, like, just looking at that, it's interesting.
You do see that a lot in people, that they have a lot of hardship in their life, and probably we will also encounter difficult things. But I guess you can make your life, I guess, easier if you find a way to communicate how you feel, especially to the people that you love and that are close to you. So I think that's just maybe like to circle back to like when I talked about like fixing yourself or fixing people or something like that. What I really mean is like, actually, I also said like giving you the tools to fix yourself, but giving you the tools to communicate properly and to, to understand yourself as well.
Yes.
And there are sometimes some exercises like you don't, and that's the thing that I like. If you have a therapist that is like that, they can give you some exercises, some things to think about, some like questions to answer about yourself, and that can really help, man. And that can trigger also some more regular journaling. Journaling is great, I think, as well. So
I will go as far. So you said that if people have a good friend, they don't need, or good friends, they don't need a therapist. I think yes, you're right. But I think when we talk about an ideal good friend, but how many people have, let's say, 3 to 4 close friends that they see regularly that care enough about them to be able to ask them really difficult questions when they're going through a hard time, and they end up reaching out to you. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Like
I don't know how many.
But that's very rare. If you get what I'm trying to say. Even if I look at myself, like I have very close friends, but like I went through the breakup. Like, yeah, I hang out with my brother, but like I'm not like I chatted to my mate Alex briefly about it and stuff. Maybe like, but he didn't like ask me like, bro, how did that make you feel? Like, do you feel like safe or like scared of it? No, like even though I got really good friends, so I think often like a therapist can be a nice neutral third person that's not invested in your life.
Fair.
That you can like that can probe and that you can like not be mad at for like asking difficult questions or something.
That's true. So I also think I came back from that statement that like I don't really think that because I think of this more the specific skills and tools and kind of ways to look at it, that they have that specific knowledge that friends don't have.
Journaling could be, if there's anything that could replace therapy, I think it's journaling, because I do think all the answers that we seek externally are within, but it's really difficult to find those, and like through journaling.
So I think like maybe a bit like a dumb comparison, but I think like a therapist is a bit like a Scrum Master.
Get fucked, bro.
But it is a bit. Let me explain. I'm dead serious as well. Listen up. If you don't know what a Scrum Master is, good for you. Keep on living that way.
This is gonna be a reel, bro. We've got to jump this up into a reel. A therapist is like a Scrum Master.
No.
Okay.
In a way that if a team is super mature, you don't need the Scrum Master.
Yes. Okay.
And I think in that way, if you are very mature and you are like close to enlightenment and shit, you don't need a therapist. But I think like for maybe people starting off, they need to have some guidelines that facilitate.
And how many teams? Let's look at AS1 for example. How many teams are there that you think don't actually need a Scrum? There's not that many. Maybe in the whole of ASML, maybe 12 or 15 teams.
It depends, because I think a lot of teams can benefit from a Scrum Master, but I think where we fail at the moment is the competence level of the Scrum Master, because I think the Scrum Masters are not competent enough to lead the level of teams that we have. Some people who are... Okay, I'm not going to generalize this, but a lot of Scrum Masters are people who went up. They wanted to go up a level and then chose this position where they actually are not really coaches or people who are passionate about helping people that much. And they didn't have the right training and they didn't have the right skills. And then it just sucks. And you don't want to work with that. It just takes a lot of money. Because what you're actually doing is you're taking a person, full FTE that you suddenly give like the freedom and power to start planning all kinds of random meetings. And that is their whole thing. That's their only deliverable, is to like facilitate, but they don't know how that works, so they come up with all these things, and then everyone has to join, and it's just a waste of fucking time.
Yeah, it's like forced therapy, bro. People don't want to go to therapy, bro.
Okay.
So the other day we were discussing this concept of we become the people that can protect our younger selves.
Yes.
Do you think that's true?
100%.
Yeah.
I see you're kind of preparing for the move into the gym discussion. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I think we should do it. We should.
Because like, I think, and we never spoke about it, but I think we have very similar reasons for why we started gymming, huh?
Yeah. And when I heard that quote, the first thing that came to mind was gym. But what's interesting is that there's a lot more. I mean, like even like the defense mechanism for men of not feeling a lot and not being as emotional, I think has a very clear purpose in the past. I mean, especially when you looked at like world wars and like a hard man would like bottle up everything and go out and work fucking 16 hours a day in a steel factory and provide for the family, and there wasn't contraception, so families were big and you know what I mean, like, and like in a way, I'm not saying it was ideal, but it served the purpose.
Definitely, oftentimes it didn't help you if you show a lot of emotion.
And so I think that there's many ways that defense mechanisms that we develop that are essentially there to protect the younger versions of ourselves. And for me, I don't ever think I was severely bullied or anything at school, but I definitely recognized that I did want to be in the position where I could defend myself if need be. And I wasn't able to until I became much older. And I think those two are very much linked. I don't know about yourself.
Yeah, I think it's the same thing. So like I think I had two kind of motivations for training. I was already into like sports a lot, but it was more like I did judo and also team sports like water polo. I did that. I just love doing sports. But then I went into gymming, and that was mainly because there were some situations when I was a kid where I felt threatened by other kids a little bit older.
But you're quite a big boy.
Hey, now I am. I mean, I was always like big-ish, but like if there are multiple ones and you don't have any experience and you also don't know what your body can do, it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And the other one was I watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z as well.
But here's the interesting one. I don't actually think it's got much to do with physical size. I think physical size gives, particularly men, the confidence, and confidence is what is attractive to women but also scary to other men. So I mean, you don't have to be physically big, but if you're the guy who's always willing to just go in and try and fuck someone else up, people are going to be scared of you. They're like, he's fucking crazy. Like, you know, if you're willing to hurt yourself, and I think a lot of that comes from confidence. Like the big guys are the ones who just have the confidence that they can go and fuck other people up. So, you know, it's this mental power
maybe as well, but
play.
I think like the physical one also definitely plays a role, because I'm not a guy who would like typically go in and fuck other people up.
Yes.
But I'm pretty big now. So I like, from the point that I started to gain significant size, also I think age plays a big role. People just don't bother me anymore.
Yes.
Like you don't, when I was a kid, you just walk around.
Yeah.
Some people tried to pick a fight with you for no reason. At a certain point, it just didn't happen anymore.
But also, I mean, we became adults, bro. Like adults don't.
Well, that's the other thing.
Bitch love each other. But when did you start gymming? When did you start getting big?
I started gymming when I was 16, I think. 16.
Shit, it's been what, 20 years now.
Yeah, like a long ass fucking time.
Joking. 15 years.
15 years. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm 31. Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's been a while. And yeah, like I said, also part of it was because I watched all these shows where, like Dragon Ball, where it was all about training and getting better and protecting people. And I think for me as well, like the protecting other people, I think was a big motivation maybe as well. Like protecting myself, but also being able to protect the people that you love. I think I have a bit of a romanticized version of that in my mind, because like literally it never happens that I'm like in a fight or that I have to protect someone. So it's like not really realistic.
Do you think that there was ever an aspect in there to attract like the other sex, to like be attractive?
Yeah, I think as well. But at the same time, for a really long time, I never trained for aesthetics. I always just...
we can see, don't worry. Joking.
Guys, cut that out. Oh my god, it's fucking painful. Mike, I didn't expect this of you.
I'm joking with you.
I know, but like... Oh man, I'm getting roasted in my own podcast.
I know you'll roast me back, so there's no stress.
What's there to roast, man? Fucking Greek god.
So you're saying you didn't train for aesthetics?
No, so I was going for power. I was going for
powerlifting.
strength, mostly powerlifting.
So tell me your lifting journey. So you started at 16, you're now 31. What weight were you when you started? What weight are you now? Like, what happened?
Like body weight?
Yeah.
Dude, I have no idea what I weighed back then, but I wasn't as much as now. But like, I mean, I was a 16-year-old kid. I went to a gym, which was like run by some local people, and they were mostly like Polish guys, like really jacked people training there as well. And I don't know, man. It just started. I was doing strong lift 5x5. So I started with an empty bar and then doing the power lifts.
So you started at 16 powerlifting?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That was
so
like
you
the
were
main
training
thing.
for strength from the beginning?
Yeah, mainly.
And then what happened, bro?
Then what happened, man? I just continued doing that a bit, but I always felt like I never really got that strong as you would expect, and I couldn't really explain why. But I kept training because I just really loved it. Yeah, it's like a bit like a shitty story, but like I just never really got extremely strong. If you look at the stories that you can find online of people who are following powerlift
Because normally,
programs.
okay, so you get newbie gains at the beginning, right?
Yeah, of
Normally.
course, of course. you
Yeah.
get some
So I
of
mean,
that.
that must have happened to you. You must have blown up a
Yeah,
little
of
bit.
course. Yeah, that kind of happened. But like, you know, like if you follow a powerlifting program
Yes.
for a while, you can kind of map out how strong you will be, kind of, right? Like, so it's
It's a lot of individual variance in there, but if you have enough of your own progression, yeah, you can make some.
yeah,
So if you've done a powerlifting meet before, right? Let's say you've done one powerlifting meet, you've been training for 2 years, you do a powerlifting meet, you train for 16 weeks for your powerlifting meet, you lift XYZ numbers. Then a year later, you're going to do the same powerlifting meet, but a year later. 16 weeks before, you can measure your 1 rep maxes, and then you can infer, okay, my 1 rep maxes are here. I can expect to put this much on. And with a good coach, like you could get some numbers and figure out, yeah.
So I think I'm not doing too bad now, but like I never got to the level that I really wanted. But it never really stopped me either. So I just did it and then I enjoyed it a lot. So my squat was always like relatively low compared to the rest. But I really loved deadlifting and benching, for instance. So that was like the things that kept me going. And then actually when I turned 19, I went to uni. So then it shifted also a little bit. So I started doing other stuff like more MMA, rugby, more contact sports again. And then for a short bit, gymming was a bit on the background.
Yeah.
But then again, there was a powerlift association that I joined. Then I had my first meet there, which was not bad. And then I was like 21 at the time. And I deadlifted those 200 kilos. And then it's just my squat was not that high. I was like 145 kilos and bench like 110, 115.
Yeah.
So, but if I look at it now, I'm not that much higher. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So like I think like I like doing it and I just do my shit, but it's not in it for me to become like a.
No, but I mean, it's like with anything. I mean, you're not like actively focused on improving your powerlifting lifts. You know, like it's not like you. Okay, so I'll give an example here. So I started training when I was 19.
Yeah.
I'm now 29, so 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
I did 2 powerlifting competitions.
That's why you're a bit smaller than me as well, right?
Exactly. Yeah, because I'm a bit younger than you. I'm going to get there. When I competed my second powerlifting comp, I think I did like 115 bench, 185 squat, and 217.5 deadlift.
Deadlift, sick.
But again, now I can bench 115 probably. I haven't squatted 180, 185, even 170 in a very long time. I think that was the last time I squatted that heavy. And I also haven't pulled more than 200 in a very long time, right? And it's not
but you
because-
did it at least at that time. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
but now I haven't been focusing. Like if I spent a year really focusing on squat, bench, deadlift 3 times a week, like really like, then of course I could beat those numbers. But I'm not like complete, like just as you are. You're not fully focused on doing a powerlifting program. So,
but I think it's just also like even if you follow the programs, I think you can definitely get strong to a certain level. But I did focus on it at that time, and I also didn't really reach the levels that I was hoping to
bro,
reach.
I feel like you're just demotivating our fucking viewers. You're just like, I've been gymming for 15 years.
Look at
It's
me,
all
like-
fucking bullshit. I didn't get as strong as I wanted. I didn't get as big as I wanted. It didn't really happen. Like, what the fuck am I doing with my life, bro?
No.
Like-
Okay. I mean, like, I'm just trying to open up and be honest
No,
here
I'm
about my
with
own
you. I'm
journey,
with
you
you.
know,
I'm with you.
because I think that's also something that maybe is not said enough, actually, because people are
Yes.
always kind of bragging about, okay, I'm gymming,
Yes.
I'm so fucking
So
strong.
let's
and
talk
shit.
about the realistic side. Okay, so I think maybe one of the points that you're getting at is with social media.
Mm.
There's always these influences. You always
You're giving it a nice spin, thanks, Mike.
no, but you always get like genetics, which is a huge part of it.
Yeah,
You look
yeah.
at someone like Caesar. We were having lunch with Caesar today. Man's a fucking unit, bro.
Yeah, he's a unit.
way more jacked than either of us will ever be.
Yeah.
And yes, like he trains super hard and stuff like that. But like a lot of it is also genetics, right?
Yep,
And that's
yep.
why a lot of people who go into bodybuilding and stuff, they have the genetics. So give me the blueprint. If someone here is listening to us, they're 18 years old, they want to get jacked, they want to get swole, right? They don't know what their genetics is like. What do they need to do? Give me the most important to the least important. What do they got to do?
Well, okay, the most important is like, I think any kind of resistance training, if you're just starting off, is going to be amazing for you. Just start resistance training 3 times a week. It's already plenty. And then just eat a bunch of protein and sleep well. And that would be like the pillars for starting off. Like,
Overall calories?
fuck, man, I don't even think if you start off, you have to think about that much. But you can get a calculator out somewhere based on your height, size.
Should people just eat a lot, like if they're just starting?
I mean, we're talking about like a guy in puberty. Like, eat whatever the fuck you want. Like, just eat.
That's the message that
Yeah.
I wish I had told myself when I was 21 years old,
Yeah.
and I wanted to like have abs. So I'm eating like fucking dry tuna at like 10 o'clock
Oh, yeah.
on a Wednesday, watching some random YouTube video of what's his name, Rich Piana, being like whatever it
yeah,
takes,
yeah.
you know. And it's like, no, I should have been just consuming not like unhealthy calories, but
Yeah.
like consuming fucking food and training fucking hard. Like
If you're not a vegetarian or anything, just eat like a bunch of meat that you love. Drink a lot of milk, like the GoMad. I don't know.
I drank a lot of milk when I was younger, but I regret it. Milk has a lot of lactose in, so for some people, they're not good with lactose. You don't realize it. Which is a bad combination. But milk also has a lot of hormones in it. It has cow hormones. And for some people, that can be sensitive, like for like myself. Like,
But it's like a steroid hormone?
no, it's like not good hormones.
I can say honestly, like I've been a big milk drinker always, and it has helped me a lot. And there's this thing like GoMad,
Yes.
like a gallon of milk a day.
Yes.
That's a huge thing if you want to gain weight. Like people do that as well.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. Look at the specifics. Whatever. Take protein powder, whey, mix it with whatever you like,
Yeah.
like apple juice, or if you don't drink milk, I don't know what people do, but yeah, just
Water.
or water.
Yeah, with apple juice.
It doesn't matter. Like whatever you want to mix it with.
Yeah.
Drink
Drink alcohol-free protein beer.
Hey, yeah, exactly. Something like
by
this.
our friends called
Thrive.
Thrive.
Thrive. Because you will thrive on this. I feel my muscles growing while I'm drinking this drink. No, but yeah, and so we both started off with strength training, powerlifting.
I didn't start off strength. I started off hypertrophy.
Okay.
So I started off wanting to get bigger, but I was very, very skinny. I started off at 19. I think I weighed 68 or 71 or something when I was 19.
Oh, yeah.
So same height that I am now, but when I started gymming, I think now I just got back from holidays. So I'm probably about 90 kilograms now.
Yeah.
So that's almost 20 kilograms in 10 years.
That's yeah,
which
huge
is
difference. Yeah.
a
And I
decent
guess a lot
amount.
of that is also muscle for you, man. Like you are pretty jacked.
Thanks. So I started off just training. So I actually started off my roommate in first year, not the greatest roommate, but he was big into gym. And when I mean roommates, I mean roommate. So in Res in Stellenbosch in Cape Town, you like shared a room that was like literally the size of this like pad.
Oh,
You just
yeah.
had like each had a bed and a cupboard and a table. And anyway,
my God.
so he was big into his gym. He used to sell steroids in high school, but he didn't take them himself. I don't know, crazy story. But he was big into his gym, and it was rainy season in Cape Town. I had a car, so he convinced me to sign up for the gym just so that I could drive us to gym and back, and he didn't have to be in the rain. So I did it for a month with him, and then I was like, this is fucking awful. I'm just this guy's slave. Fuck that. So then I did my month membership and stopped. Then I went back home in June, July for the mid-year holidays, and then I got interested in like wanting to do some pull-ups and stuff at home. And then I had like an interest in like putting on some size. So then when I got back, I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna do this myself. So I just signed up for gym and I just went to gym myself and just watched stuff online, got more and more into it. And then I would say I was gonna do a trip in that December with some friends. So in my mind, I was like, oh, I want to get jacked for this trip so that like if I'm shirtless, like, you know, I look big, whatever. The trip never ended up happening, but I put in a lot of effort to get jacked, and because of the newbie gains, like I put on some muscle, and then once you start seeing results, you get more motivated, so you work harder, and then you see more, especially in the beginning phase. So for the first 2 years, saw a lot of results, was feeling good, even 2.5 years, but then obviously like I'm in a university gym with guys like Caesar and like a lot of these really big boys, and then obviously at a certain point you stop gaining muscle as quickly, especially since I wasn't like eating in a huge surplus and stuff like that. And then I became really interested in the form behind, because that's more like the technical aspect. So I'm like an analytical, rational guy. Then became really interested in form, and at the same time I fell in love with deadlifts. So you can now sort of see how I'm lining up towards the powerlifting side. It was actually deadlifts that got me into powerlifting, because then I really enjoyed. Actually, if we want to go on a psychological level, I think there was like a bit of like anger within me. I don't know what from, but there was some sort of anger. And it was deadlifts were a really nice way. I think you've also experienced that, where you just like, fucking,
I love deadlifts.
Like you just get into that like mode, and then you just go and you just fucking like pull weights, right? So I got really into my deadlifts, and then I think once I was like deadlifting like 160, 170, there was a dude at the gym, a guy called also JP. Big boy, a really nice guy, hell of a nice guy. And he and I trained a little bit together, and he was into his powerlifting. And then he asked me how much I can deadlift and what my body weight was. And I told him, and he was like, oh, you should like come join one of the meets and stuff. I was like, oh, I'd love to. And then he was like, yeah, it's this date. So he like helped me out with the dates and stuff. And then in my mind, I was like super focused. I'm like, oh, okay, so I'm going to like train really hard so I can be strong for the meets.
Cool shit.
And then, yeah, I did my first meet, didn't do that well.
But you were already like working out for a couple of years before you started your powerlifting, right?
Yes.
Because I feel like there's maybe a thing, at least I had this in my mind. I saw it with a lot of people that were actually really good at powerlifting. I think they all started with just hypertrophy and building muscle mass, and then later got into powerlifting. And I think maybe I shot myself in the foot when I started just with powerlifting and never did hypertrophy. And only now that I'm actually also more focusing on hypertrophy, my muscles grow fucking fast, man. I realize like I can grow some muscle. I'm like not a small guy at all, but now also I feel like when we squatted last winter, I felt pretty good. I think there's more in the tank there as well. So maybe that's like kind of the silver lining here that I learned, is at least that it's not, because I wanted to kind of optimize for like low body weight, not a lot of muscle, but being really, really strong. But then in the end, like you need some muscle, like you said, you need to have some tissue in order to move some weight as well.
So I want to make an observation here, taking a step back, because we've known each other now for 3-4 years. And I feel like, particularly when it comes to the bodybuilding, powerlifting, the lifting aspect of your like psychology, I feel like it's one of the areas that you're most hard on yourself in. It's been very rare that I've like heard you like be happy with like, okay, every now and again, like early on at the gym you said, oh no, like I'm happy with, because you were on holiday and you were a bit heavier, so you cut down, and you're like, I'm happy with, so that's like great. But then it'll always be like, yeah, I'm happy with it, but like I want to get here, or I want to do this, or I want to, and it's like interesting, because if like a 20-year-old kid looks at you like you're a fucking unit, bro. Like you're a 105 kilogram fucking unit. Like you can bench press, you can lift, bro.
Yeah, true.
And it's interesting because, I mean, I'm also a victim of this, where we as people, we're very critical towards ourselves, and we see ourselves in a completely different eye to how like people who might maybe watching this would see ourselves, and that's something that you go through in the journey. And for better or for worse, I think it's also something that motivates a lot of people, because when you don't see the progress, because you see yourself every day, you don't see the progress as black and white. That's why people maybe take progress pics and stuff. Then it's easy to be like, oh, you ain't fucking shit, like you haven't picked up that much, like you're not even that fucking strong. Like there's people like, get your ass in the gym and like use that to push themselves.
Yeah, I think that's 100% true. And I think it's also because you're in there with yourself in your mind, so you know kind of what you're capable of.
Yes.
If you would really try. I guess that's the thing that I have in my mind, maybe, that I feel like I'm not really trying as much as I would like to, or I don't know. It's hard. It's definitely I think going to the gym is also psychological warfare on yourself, kind of,
And that's a very interesting point, because one of the things I want to talk about, which for me was one of the most important parts of my gymming career, gymming process. So I started off gymming, I would say, with a feeling of insignificance. And we spoke about it in one of our previous episodes, not feeling good enough, worthy enough, attractive enough to girls, big enough to be confident and like
to defend
tell
yourself,
other guys
whatever,
like fuck off if they're bullying me, whatever. I think a lot of the anger that I harnessed in order to deadlift and thus power lift came from the idea of not feeling good enough. And what's interesting is that I definitely think all exercise, like running, gym, these sorts of things, are a type of therapy, type of meditation. And I feel like I learned to love myself more through the process of gymming.
Yeah.
And so essentially what happens is that your motivation for doing this becomes less extrinsic for other people and more intrinsic, like, oh, I'm going to feel good because you're doing one workout, you're not going to change your body.
No, exactly.
But you feel good after that workout, you can have a good day. Like tomorrow morning, I'm going to go to gym. I'm going to be no bigger. Maybe I'll be a little pumped afterwards, but like, I'm going to be the same person after my gym session tomorrow morning. But I'm going to go to gym tomorrow morning because I get to talk to my friend Jordan, who is an amazing person, got a lot of love for, and I'm going to feel good, and I'm going to then have a good day, right? So a question I have for you is, if you wouldn't change at all your body from going to the gym, would you still go?
Yeah, I think you asked me that before. But would you get any health benefits?
Yeah, you get the health benefits, but none of the aesthetics benefits.
Right. Maybe a bit less than I'm doing right now, because I think like the physical and also the strength part of it is definitely something that attracts me in going to the gym as well. Like I like it, and I think it's the proper reward for the effort that you put in.
Yeah,
because you do put in effort.
Yeah,
and it's fun that you're working on a better version of yourself for the future, I think.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
And that's where I think we got to also be realistic. You know, in this podcast, we've spoken a lot about psychology topics, and a lot of the time when we delve into these topics, you need to go to extreme cases in order to make points.
Yeah,
but in reality, very few people exercise completely for intrinsic, non-aesthetic reasons, because we're all human and humans have egos.
Yeah,
and like that's part of being in a society and living in a society. If we were all Buddhist monks that had spent 4 years in that temple, then maybe okay, we didn't need to. But I think, I mean, for me, if I look at that, I would say yes, I probably would gym. Maybe not as much. I think I'd get more into my running and other things.
Yeah.
But I'd also change up my exercises. So I'd probably do lower weight, much higher rep, get my heart rate much higher, sweat a lot more, because that's going to release the endorphins.
Yeah. Do more
you know
like
what I'm trying to say?
HIIT kind of workouts where you like, do some push movements and then some burpees and shit and like, yeah.
So I don't think that the human psyche was designed to put in effort for idea of stasis. You know, I mean, we do live in a society that has hierarchies, and people want to climb hierarchies because we have egos, and men want to be able to have some power dominance over each other and all these things.
I think it's a very important thing also, working out maybe, but like especially doing some kind of sport. I don't want to be sexist, but maybe mainly as a guy in puberty but I think also for women, it could be valid too, in order to understand the capabilities of your body, what you're capable of what your limits are, to find that out, to learn how your body works, where it ends, where it stops. I think that's actually crucial for development as well. So I would say that everyone should do some kind of sport.
We've spoken a lot about psychology in this podcast. How important is exercise for one's mental health?
Very important, I think.
Why?
But I think, like I said, I think especially in the developmental process, you are not a genie in a computer or in a robot. You are a human physical body. So I think you need to understand what your proper place is in this physical material world as well. So you need to understand your biological body. And I think and that's something that we're really doing wrong in our societies. We're only virtual now. We don't understand any of this. We don't understand our emotions. We don't understand our biology. We don't understand our own power. And I think like gymming or other kind of sports really help to understand what you're doing.
I'm a big fan of looking at evolutionary trends in order to understand why we are as we are, whether it be physically or psychologically. And I think if we look at what are we? We're animals, right? We're biological organisms. And for 99.9999999% of all time that biological organisms have existed on this earth, movement has been extremely key to survival.
100%. 100%.
Like, okay, unless you're a fucking leaf. But you know what I'm trying to say, like, especially for like mammals, right? I mean, like humans and like mammals, we got to move. We got to.
You need to move through the material world.
And so, while I do think that there are people that maybe don't need exercise in order to be mentally healthy in our modern day and age, I don't think it's a prerequisite. But I think that it's like going again. You know, they're very lucky; they've won the psychological lotto. I think for most people. It's pretty simple. Like if you like go for enough runs, you go for a run, you come back, you feel good because like you had to run a lot when you were running away from things that would kill you. Like, you know.
And then I mean that as well. But like take as a very simple example, as a kid, most kids, if you're blessed, I guess I was blessed, you play mostly with your dad, right? You kind of wrestle maybe a little bit. I did a lot of wrestling with my dad, also in the water. I climbed on his back, whatever. So you kind of have this play wrestling that's fucking essential for kids to learn how
especially
their bodies work.
It's that physical. I mean, you see it with like lion cubs. They'll be like tackling each other.
I was gonna say, like, I had two cats, and they were like brothers, but they were like young kittens. If you have two, they kind of play fight with each other. So they start biting and scratching, and then they learn that, oh, my claws actually hurt because I feel the other claws hurting me. Then they realize, like, I shouldn't do this, I should do that. That's why, like, learning where the end of your body is and how powerful you are, that's essential play while growing up. And kids who don't have that, there are some studies on that actually. Kids who didn't have this like wrestling play when they were younger, either with other kids or with their parents, they are more socially awkward. They are more like timid. They don't know how to position themselves because they don't know where they fit in, like physically in the room. So I think that's why I think it's like quite essential to move, to be there.
And how physically powerful are we as humans?
I am extremely powerful. You are not so much, but yeah, you know, like that's a couple of years. No, but I think really powerful. I think we can do more than we think.
Yes.
You have these very cool, although a bit sad stories of like, you know, like a mother that sees her kid being...
That's a fake one, by the way. It was just proved. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Although, don't get me wrong, adrenaline is an incredible substance, and I think.
And what about the guy trapped by the boulder? Is that also fake?
Where he cut his hand off?
No. But he like pushed it off. But then the boulder was extremely...
I don't know that one. Look, don't get me wrong. I do think adrenaline...
Fuck. Is that debunked?
But I think in general, a lot of these things have been debunked. Like ones that are like crazy. But don't get me wrong.
The car's not that heavy also. But women are just weak.
But I think, no, the point that you're getting at is that what I was sort of going at was not necessarily like strong, like instantaneously without training. But I was talking about like, once you start training your body, like you realize how powerful your body is. I mean, how much we are evolved to adapt to our environment. And all gymming is, so I asked you earlier, okay, what do you need to do to get big? And I liked how your first answer was some sort of resistance training. But essentially what you do is you put your body in an environment where it's forced to adapt.
Yeah.
And the way that it needs to adapt is by making its muscles bigger.
Yeah.
You do that by putting those muscles under continuous strain repetitively over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Then you got to feed your body fuel in order to build those muscles, because building muscle is metabolically expensive. It's more metabolically expensive than, or your brain is the most metabolically expensive organ. But if you're going through an extended period of building muscles, give your muscle food, calories, carbs, fats, lots of protein. We all know protein, whey protein for muscles, and then rest, because rest is when we build. But if you do that consistently, and we've done this now for a decade and a half, it's a beautiful process.
Preach.
To see what your body's
That's the thing, indeed. It's like really, it's literal training. So you kind of stretch it to beyond its limit. And then, I mean, like the muscle doesn't think, but then the muscle thinks, hey, I need to grow in order to next time be prepared
tears. I mean,
for
certain
that.
fibers tear.
Yeah.
And then when it grows back stronger so that tearing doesn't happen again. So it's actually through pain. Like, I mean, you feel it. DOMS.
You feel it.
DOMS is delayed muscle onset soreness, but you feel it. That's that pain that you feel. And that's also why you don't have that great range of motion the next day after a big chest day. And your body comes back and it's like, I got you, mate.
Hey, so let me ask you a more detailed question about that. I don't know if it's 100% true, but it's actually in my mind as a kind of truism that stretching decreases muscle strength, because you actually... like the muscles grow back in the shortened way, but more resistant against the tension that you put on it. But if you stretch it, you're stretching it out, so then it loses part of that.
I'm not sure exactly what you mean, but if I answer the two ways that you could be meaning it. So when we talk about powerlifting, we talk about strength. One of the things that's very important is leverages. So we all have completely different... what's our skeletal structure called?
Anatomy?
Anatomies.
Yeah.
So proportion. So I mean, if you look at like really good deadlifters versus like bad deadlifters, you'll see hip insertions, length of torso to legs, or femur to what's the below it? Calf area, whatever that is. But all these sorts of things matter a lot for squats, for bench, for deadlift. Like rotator cuffs is a big one for bench pressing, for like shoulder movements, like where you can comfortably sit. So if we talk about what's the optimal position for muscles to be in to have maximal strength, I don't think it's less with regards to how stretched it is and more about the leverages and the position that you can put it in for those leverages as like a mechanical engineer. But if we think about like bench press, for example, I mean, like we're powerlifters, like we want to like get that stretch. I think maybe what you might be talking about more is the whole theory that Jeff Nippert came out with more recently about the idea of lengthened partials building as much or more muscle as full range of motion. So that's where at the bottom of the rep, so you keep the muscle in the stretched position and you load it stretched rather than going through. I'm just finding a reason to flex now.
Can you explain that again?
The full range of motion, which I find very interesting and I do think is quite effective. To be honest, like it's probably something that I want to do more, and I have slowly started incorporating, especially for like muscle groups like biceps.
I've been doing it quite a lot.
Yeah.
No, this was actually not what I was talking about, but it is an interesting topic indeed. So the fact that you want to put the most stress in the most stretched position of your muscle, because that then recruits the most. It actually tears the most, and then recruits the most adaptation in your muscle. That's the theory. Right, and that has been like shown now in a couple of studies, I think.
Well, Jeff Nippert did his own whole study,
Yeah.
and it was about the same as doing full range of motion. So the question is, well, why would you do full range of motion if you can do half the rep and get the same amount of gains?
Yeah, yeah, fair. And you can see that actually. That's fucking insane. But have you seen gymnasts' arms?
Yes.
And what they usually do is like fully overstretched arm positions,
Yeah.
and then they hold their shit like that.
Yeah.
Like also their biceps, they're like as big as my head.
But a lot of that's also from pull-ups. I've learned and I've realized if you can do a pull-up but focus on bicep more than back, it's an extremely good bicep because you're putting a huge amount of tension on this muscle here.
That as well.
It's a really good one, and they do a lot of pull-ups, gymnasts.
That as well, but they also do, and because a buddy of mine is a gymnast, they kind of do. Okay, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna get up and show it. I don't know if it's gonna be on camera, but they basically like they grab something like that, and then they lean forward like this. And then they hold their body back,
and it's in the stretched
fucking
position.
Insane. Yeah. And then the movement, there's no movement actually. Like maybe it's a very small movement.
Yeah.
But that's crazy, man. And I started to do that a couple of times as well to put that into my workout routine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it will work.
How do you do that on leg day?
On leg day, yeah. That's a good question.
You can send me a video next time.
That's on my OnlyFans.
No, but I think in general, gymming and exercise is a super interesting topic. I'm definitely blessed that I found gym when I did, and I think for a lot of people, if there's any young guys out there watching, I think that you don't need to be scared or too worried if you're starting off gym for, let's say, the wrong reasons. I think that the process that it can take you through can be very enlightening. At least it was for me. And you can often find yourself and find the right reasons in these things along the journey. I think it's a very healthy coping mechanism.
Yeah, and it's super fun as well.
Yeah.
You meet a lot of cool people, I think. And also...
Not girls. You're not going to meet any girls.
No girls. Yeah, maybe that's a good thing.
Other guys will tell you that your arms are big, but you're not going to meet girls.
No, they don't give a fuck. But the ancient Greeks also were like huge like bodybuilders, or at least athletes.
Yes.
So like the tradition of training your body, even though it's not strictly necessary for survival, that tradition goes back way back. So that's not something that we invented. I mean,
were they also big gymnasts, the Greeks?
I mean, gym is coming from the Greek word gymnasium, which is also, I think it just means like school. So they just had like a
exercise school.
And not only, so it was also about the thinking and shit, but it was like a huge part of that.
And gym bros took the thinking
Gym
out.
bros are just fucking
we don't
nerds.
Need to fucking think. We love to drink protein.
You have your writing and everything.
Yeah.
No, but it's funny.
Another question. What's the story with pre-workout, bro? Have you taken pre-workout before?
No, I don't. I don't take pre-workout.
Have you ever tried it?
Did we try it at one point? Maybe, but like usually my pre-workout is literally just coffee. Coffee, now creatine as well, creatine and coffee. But I never really did pre-workout.
Do you need to take creatine before you work out?
Doesn't really matter.
You
can take it whenever you want. Also, you can eat your proteins whenever you want throughout the day.
The meal timing.
Doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter.
There's actually what I can really recommend from Mike Israetel. He's like a big guy. He's also a professor and he does a lot of research shit, but he's also jacked as fuck and he trains people for bodybuilding competitions professionally. And he has a really great YouTube channel, which is Renaissance Periodization. And his whole theory is the thing that got me to understand getting stronger and getting jacked more. And then he basically has all the things that you think matter, like what you eat, when you eat it, blah, blah, blah. But he has it like in rank order of what's most important. And he also gives the percentages to how much it matters. So like what you eat is 90% important. Timing is maybe 10%. So like if you're just starting out, don't worry about when you eat. Just eat whenever you're feeling comfortable, but eat the right things.
Yes.
And then maybe if you're like a pro bodybuilder and you're at 5% body fat, then you should worry about your timing.
I agree. He also did one on different muscle groups that make you look most jacked. Have you seen that one?
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Where he's like first biceps, one is like arms, then shoulders, then chest, then traps.
Oh yeah.
Then legs. It's like, like
legs is bottom tier.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But no, I like Dr. Mike Israetel stuff. I also want to shout out Jeff Nippert. Jeff Nippert's been a huge resource for me for a lot of time. And there's a lot of, so I mean, we don't need to go into all the nitty gritty details of what these guys are saying, because I mean, they are like really, really professional. But I think more on the psychological side of it, I think in the past, let's say when our parents were youngsters, I think that there was a lot of pressure on women to look a certain way. And I think now in our day and age, there's still obviously a lot of pressure, but I think now there's a lot more pressure on men to look a certain way. Especially with like the rise of or the popularity of social media and all these things.
Where do you think that pressure comes from? From other men or from women?
I think guys, especially young guys, think that it's from women, but it's actually from men or from society as a whole, but men driving that in society. And I think in general, there's this, a lot of the podcasts we watch talk about it. There's this idea that like men are inadequate or men are not good. They're too angry. They're not enough. They're too weak. They're too lazy, or they're overdriven and they're not emotional enough, or too emotional, or whatever. I feel like men have got a lot of hate in the past, 2 decades. Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of it's very warranted. There's a lot of very shitty men out there, but there's also a lot of very shitty women out there.
Yeah,
right?
So I don't think it's like a men or women specific thing. It's just there's some, I mean, everyone has their own demons and shit.
So let's talk about a statistic. I mean, men are more likely to commit suicide than women in our current day and age, and it's an alarming statistic. I think like a lot more, right? A bunch of these like podcasting gurus talk about it, and then they use this as like a way to try and bring light to like mental health issues of men. But
it's also because men are more likely to follow through with their plans.
Very
jokes aside.
But I think that, definitely a part of it probably also ties back to one's body image or one's self-image, which is somewhat linked to one's body image, I would guess, for many people.
What do you think is the difference, if we relate it to gymming, between men and women, why they go to the gym? And I mean, we're both men, obviously, but like we know some women who gym as well. What are their goals?
Interesting one. So I can only talk from my own personal perspective.
The time that you were a woman?
The time that I was a woman, yes. But this is super insightful to me. So I started gymming because I wanted to get muscles to impress girls. I gymmed a lot. I got muscles. I didn't really impress girls. I impressed guys. Yes, maybe I'm a little bit more impressive to girls for the first 1.87 seconds that they see me somewhere.
I think if you're at the beach, though, it does make it different. Like, it's a good thing.
But I've recognized now that if you want to get girls, confidence is your key. Confidence is the thing to have. And yes, you can build one's confidence through changing your body, but there's also different types of confidence, right? And like you can then be like confident that like you have like big muscles, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're confident in the way that you are willing to be vulnerable, or you're willing to feel stupid and go and talk to some girl that you don't know that's sitting on a step or whatever. And so I think that if young men's reason for wanting to gym is to get girls, I think for many of them it may work and it may help and it may improve one's overall confidence and all these things. But I think that for a lot of men, it's also very important to ask yourself, well, is this actually working? And am I developing the part within myself that is allowing me or bringing me closer to that goal or who I want to be? Because I think, especially in this day and age, that for a lot of men, don't get me wrong, it's amazing to gym, it's very healthy. I think it will improve your overall confidence and all these things. But I think that with the topic of approaching girls, having meaningful conversations, women being attracted to you, developing long-term relationships with women, a lot of that is like inner self-work, mainly through journaling and maybe even therapy and these sorts of things.
True.
And thinking about oneself, that's going to be way more effective than ending up taking fucking Tren in the gym and getting massively huge and not having girls.
I mean, that's true, but I want to give the maybe alternative view there. It's also something that Mike Ursatel said in one of his latest videos, that if you want to become more confident, since we are all like biological animals, basically, knowing, or at least having a feeling that you can beat up everyone in the room does give you a kind of edge of confidence. It's quite funny, because if you think about it as being animals in a dominance hierarchy, and we both are at a company where you are sitting with like the brightest and smartest people, some older people, like maybe they're already in the game for like 30 years or something. You're sitting in their room, you're trying to convince them. Maybe you're a bit nervous because you need to use your words and shit to make them smile or agree with you. But it's completely, I mean, it's not backwards because it makes sense. But if you look back at like primates or something,
that you're completely right, but that applies for
then
men.
I could beat up everyone in the room.
Yeah, but now you're talking about men, right?
Yeah,
I was talking about women. So I think that, like, the reason that guys get big is to be able to have the confidence to intimidate other men, and that's very effective. And I've noticed that myself, but it's a very subtle thing, and we don't actually beat each other up in the offices at ASML, by the way.
Not that much.
Anyone, come back to the next episode with a black guy. But for women, I think it's way less of a thing than like what guys think. So they
100%.
think like, oh, I'm fucking big, like these chicks are gonna love me.
But I think they feel, like what you said was true, is that they feel the confidence that you have.
Yes.
Because you think you can now beat up more men, or you cannot be beaten up as easily. That confidence, that they do find attractive. The fact that you have that confidence.
Yeah, but I think that that's very short-lived. Right, I think that that's like surface level. Yes, so like if we were actual primates, like yes, then they would mate with you. But we're not actual primates, and so that could be a ignition source. It could be a starting point. But then what are they going to do? They're going to talk to you, right? And then you got to actually talk to the women.
Yeah, but I think and that's still true. That's
what
still
I'm trying to say here. And so, if your emotional awareness, your willingness to be vulnerable, your willingness to actually connect, have you grown up and socialized with women, and do you know the difference between interacting with a woman and a man, and what using appropriate language and all these sorts of things?
Mike, we're cutting down on why we gym like bit by bit. You don't get strong, you don't get big. The confidence is also not that great.
You don't get a woman.
Like, what you actually should be doing, guys, is journaling. That's like the whole story. I think me and Mike have a lot of work to do. Oh my god!
How much journaling have you done, bro? What's your journal PR?
Last week I journaled 10 minutes in a row, man.
I journaled 17 pages, bro. No, I actually didn't. I think 4 pages, 5 pages.
If I journal with a pen, also my hand starts to hurt after a while.
I haven't got to that point yet, bro. But I got better grip strength than you, so that's
true,
why, bro.
Yep. What do you think about like gymming? If we want to keep it more gym bro,
yes.
Shit. What do you think about functional training? Stuff like this, hanging, being able to hang, maybe pull-ups, one arm hangs.
I think functional training is very good. I think it's amazing. I think
compared to the traditional hypertrophy machines or dumbbell shit, whatever.
I think like the hypertrophy machines is like the equivalent of like writing an essay with spell check.
It's amazing.
It's very effective, but like it's not pure. So I think like if you are able to do like gymnastic stuff, Olympic weightlifting stuff, calisthenics, those sorts of things, I think it's more pure. Just like, you know, there are like authors out there that can like sit down with like a scroll and a feather pen and like write a beautiful poem. They don't need spell check and all these things. Like it embodies, encapsulates more of the essence of it.
Got it.
But it's more difficult. It's not as convenient. It's all these things. And something that I myself have been wanting to get into it for probably 8 years now. No, not that long. 6 years now, and I haven't. It's like more of the Olympic weightlifts, like your snatch, your cleans, clean and jerk. I think they're beautiful movements, but they're difficult. They take time, and it's something that I probably in the future see myself getting more into, and maybe leaving some more of the hypertrophy stuff behind.
I felt like one thing that I learned during my 15 years of gymming is that you get good at what you train for. So, and that's exactly what you said as well. So you can use this autocorrect machine and you can train your muscle, you can strain your muscle more because it's like a more already pre-stabilized movement. You can get really, really good at that. And that somewhat translates to the non-stabilized movement. But let's say if you want to become a great archer, you need to train archery. If you want to become a good bench presser, you need to train bench press. If you want to do heavyweight, low reps, you have to do that, right? So like some stuff does translate, but it is about, I think in the end, it's about what do you want to do? Like the functionality, we don't have to be functionally strong in this world anymore. It's whatever you want to do.
A very good example is a lot of people use spell check every day, including me, right? So if you're using spell check to write your 300 Teams messages a day to people in your work to get shit done and to earn a living, that's brilliant. That's great. You can sound more correct with it. But if you are writing not for the sake of just communicating as effectively as possible with all other people in the day, but for the essence of writing, well, then you probably don't want to rely on spell check. It's like same with these AI and ChatGPT,
exactly.
right? So like if you're an author or a poet or a linguistic scholar, you want to be able to. So
it's all about your goal, right?
Yeah, but it's also about passion and essence. Like what calls you? Like does the essence of being functionally fit and mobile call you? And if so, then leave the hypertrophy behind. And you're going to be way more confident and attractive in all these things if you then follow that. But if...
but it's not you cannot make a value judgment about it. It's literally like, what do you decide you find the best thing, and then you train for what you want to do. And I think that's the best advice that I have on that.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also quite difficult to see progress at the beginning with these more functional things because it takes more time. I mean, if you look at like Olympic weightlifting, for example, like if someone walks into a gym, it's going to take you at least a year of proper mobility training and like proper like figuring things out to be able to do a proper clean and jerk or a snatch or something like that, right? You're going to learn about weight shoes and this and that and but I mean, if someone walks into the gym, in 6 months they can get used to like the bench machine, the arm machine, do some pull-ups. You know what I'm trying to say?
Less than 6 months, fucking couple of weeks.
Yeah. But then they're going to probably look a lot better than the person who goes and figures out the thing. If you extrapolate that over 15 years, the guy doing the snatch and stuff will probably end up looking a lot more similar to the other guy. Like if someone who's a gymnast, they're probably bigger than me even. But at the beginning, it's a bit more difficult. And then maybe later on, you see more of the gain. So it depends on what calls you. And I think a lot of this is like, in general, when it comes to like the connection between psychology and the psychological side and physical side of our body is like listening to your authentic self, listening to your calling, like really asking yourself, like, what
do you want?
Is it that's driving me to want to be big or strong or lean or whatever or functional? And then following that. And
what and maybe why. If you have the why again, like you can understand better what you actually want.
Yeah, you're very, very right there. Yeah. And the ideal why is authentic curiosity, authentic abundance. You know, we talk about this idea of lack and abundance. If you have an abundance of energy and you want a fun way of getting it out, you can do it through physical movement. It can be through soccer, through rugby, through CrossFit, through calisthenics, through gym, through running, through all these sorts of things. Like it's worth mentioning here, but I recently got into running. So for the 9 years of my gymming, I did not do cardio, right? I was a gym bro. I would do my bicep curls, whatever. Shout out to big man, Mr. Sizwe, who posted probably 1,000 running videos on his Instagram over the many years that I knew him, and brainwashed this brain of mine to think that running is a good idea. And it was at your wedding last year. And what date was it? 7th of September, 10th of September? 7th of September, 2024. I'm at this beautiful hotel in Kusha Desai.
Yes.
And I'm doing my incline walking on the treadmill because I wanted to lose some body fat because I got an ego and I wanted to look good. And I'm looking out at this beautiful view and I'm like, you know what? I should jog. So I started jogging. Did, I think 22 minutes jogging. I don't even know what the pace was. So I felt good. Endorphins, right? You exercise, you feel good. Next day, I was like, yeah, I can jog.
I want more of
again.
this. Yeah.
So I jogged again, and I ended up jogging more and more and more and more. Then I got really into. I came back and I went to the gym, and I got really into like running. So I was like running on the treadmill. I was doing like 30 minutes 5Ks, which now I know is like 6 minutes a K pace. Felt great. Got into it more. Then I ended up doing 10Ks. I'm like, this is fun. Like, the more I do this, more I feel good. And then I went for my first outdoor run with Seasway. I think it was end of October or something. Fucked my ankle, bro. Like, you remember we're walking around Albert Heijn. I was like,
what did you do?
Bro, 8 weeks, 9 weeks, I could barely walk, never mind run. So I was out, then slowly got back into it when I went to Jamaica. And then beginning of this year, I did my whole detox cleanse, and running became one of the main sources of dopamine in my brain.
Yeah.
So I did a shitload of it, ran the Paris Marathon.
You ran the Paris Marathon,
13th of April, 2025.
That's
just
the most
under 4
insane
hours.
thing, right? Like within a couple of months, you went from nothing to a full marathon in a great time as well, right?
And I think a lot of that's got to do with the strength training of my legs over the years. So we were talking earlier about how much the strength training transfer over to functional, and I think that's about as a marathon is about as functional fitness as you can possibly get.
For sure,
right?
Yeah.
And there's no ways in hell I would have done what I did if I hadn't spent 8 years squatting. Like, one of the things that I've been consistent with, like, okay, maybe I didn't always squat as heavy as I did with my powerlifting, but I've squatted, I would say on average once every 2 weeks. For 8.5, 9 years, like consistently, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's the same weight week over week, like you're building a lot of the stabilizing muscles, a lot of these things.
Yeah, you're just grinding it in, basically.
And so a lot of why I could do what I did was because of that strength, and that's hypertrophy carrying over into functional. Although squat's quite a functional movement in itself, but.
So because you achieved quite a lot, you can say, in your fitness journey. What do you say, if you can summarize it now? I think we touched on a couple of these things. What are your reasons, your whys? If you can like count them up, give a list of what are your whys. Why are you working out in general, not running or workout specific, but in general?
So in general, now the reason that I work out is. A lot of it is humans are creatures of habits and patterns. So I've been doing it for a very long time. And so it's part of my habit. It's part of I'm used to getting that feeling. So that's definitely, and I would be silly if I didn't acknowledge that. Okay, what does that feeling do for me? So I get some pleasure. I get some sort of endorphin rush from working out. I get more of an endorphin rush from running than I do from gym. So gym is more to serve the ego. Also, these days, I have an amazing gymming partner, my friend Jordan, from many years back. And so we get to catch up in the mornings at gym. So a lot of the gyms actually also now more social for me. Also with you, like we trained this evening. So my why...
When you say ego, you mean to look better.
Yes.
That's the ego. Yeah,
so firstly, it's habitual. Secondly, it's to look better. Thirdly, it's social. Fourth, health reasons, definitely. And I'm not necessarily putting these in rank order in importance.
Fine.
Health is definitely one. And I think that sort of covers it.
Is there still the original reason, which was being able to protect yourself?
I think so. Yes. I think that links into the first one of that habitual. We're creatures of habits.
Okay.
I think that's part of my structure of self. And it manifested itself originally in an unhealthy way in the function of self, which was that I was functionally not enough. So I started working out in order to mend that. And in the process, working out turned into being a good thing because you get positive emotions and it feels good or whatever. So it's, I think, a very interesting case where maybe a broken structure of self led to an inadequacy in the function of self, but actually that wasn't like that turned from bad to good without fixing the structure of self inherently. Like, I think there is probably to a lesser extent, maybe now because I'm an adult, but I think that is probably still there to a certain degree.
There's also a question too, because you also hinted at that at the beginning. What do you mean with broken and fixing and stuff? Like, it's a response, it's a natural response to a trigger that you had as a kid.
It's a defense mechanism. It's a way of protecting.
But it's not necessarily broken.
No.
Like the situation
Did I
was
use the
there.
term broken? I didn't mean
No,
to.
I think you said fixing. You didn't.
Fixing.
Or something like that at least. Yeah. But
when I said the term broken, I didn't mean it literally. I know that we spoke in our episode a lot about the analogy with the car. So I was using it more of an analogy. But yes, no, you caught me for sure. And I think.
I mean, I didn't want to caught you, but I get it. That's the way that we talk about these
So I
things.
think what happened was I developed this defense mechanism, which in itself was unhealthy, but it drove me to do something about it, which the reason was unhealthy, but the thing that I did was healthy.
But why was it unhealthy? It's a perfectly reasonable thing to do, right? You feel threatened by other people physically, so what you do, you become physically more capable in order to counterbalance that.
But the thing is, I wasn't actually threatened, right? Because
But you felt threatened.
I felt threatened, but I wasn't actually, because in our society, I'm not going to get beaten up at work. So there are a lot of...
Right now, no, but back then, I mean.
What's that?
Back then.
Yeah, but when I started gymming, I wasn't being bullied at res. I wasn't in a situation where people were actually taking advantage of me.
Okay.
So I was...
You're mentally ill. No, I can't.
But I was, I think, masking that fear that had embedded itself into the structure of my structure of self many years ago. So I was coping, or I developed a defense mechanism of not feeling adequate, not feeling enough.
Okay, I see.
So the way to fix that was to push myself. So you become hard on yourself. You become the master and the slave. So you whip yourself, right? You use the dark parts of you to whip the part of yourself.
Man, you're hard on yourself. I'm just getting hard.
But like into like doing things in the process, those things release good endorphins.
Sorry about that. It just came up. I couldn't stop.
But yeah, then it ends up like, so I think in the process you end up, I don't know how to explain that transition from more of the bad why to the good why, but yes, it's still there for me, I think, somewhere deep inside.
It's also, it's an interesting thing because, indeed, maybe originally you were basically saying that your motivation wasn't, it wasn't unpure, but maybe it was not valid, but in the end you were doing something that's good for you overall, so then it's kind of fine.
So I think what happens,
so you did the right thing for the wrong reason.
You do something that's good for you, and in parallel, you just get older and you become more mature as you become more of an adult. And so you end up unconsciously fixing, wrong term to use, but understanding yourself a bit more and all of these things. And then you realize, oh, wait a second, like I did this for the wrong reasons, but now I understand myself a little bit better and I have a very healthy habit on top.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's the same way that like kids sometimes maybe parents force their kids to go to church when they're young and they don't get anything. They're just like, what the fuck's happening here?
Brilliant analogy.
And then later they realize, oh, now I'm starting to get it. Hopefully, maybe you think church sucks and shit. But like, it can happen that you then see it and then you're like, oh man, I already developed this habit. I already know all the things. It's great.
Way men, bro.
Yeah.
Way men.
Way men. Hey, talking about way, I want to also ask you, for our listeners, about supplementation.
Yes.
Because I think one of the things that did you mention it? I think so. It's like health, right?
Yes.
So one of the reasons to exercise is to be healthy. And another way to do that is to eat healthy, to live healthy.
Yep.
Sleep is a big thing.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk about, or maybe we can just open that health chapter in general. So what do you have to say about being healthy?
Most people don't sleep enough, including myself. We live in a day and age where we seek all this extrinsic stimulation, more sleep, 8 hours of sleep, basic one. I think that's extremely important for health.
Do you like sleeping?
I do.
Yeah?
I do. Yes.
Do you have, so for me, especially in the summer, it's a bit harder because it's still light out when it's late. But like, especially if it's dark, especially if it's rainy, I'm just like looking forward to my bed. I'm like, oh, I love sleeping so much.
I like sleeping, but I feel bad if I sleep in too late because I feel like I'm being an unproductive piece of shit.
That is very interesting one.
Yeah.
That's also something you got to figure out a bit, I think.
Oh, for sure. There's definitely something there. I've recognized that for a while. But now my solution is to just go to bed really early. So like tonight, I'll probably be in bed by 9:30 or probably even earlier. And then I'll wake up at 5 tomorrow morning.
Right.
And then I feel productive. But then I get my 8 hours in. So
you're an early bird.
Sort of just working with yourself. But sleep, I think sleep's a big one.
Number one.
Next one is healthy diet. So the biggest problem in the world these days is, we talked about this, external stimulation. And a lot of it is, how much can I get for the least amount? So processed foods, like things that are overly processed. I was very, very fortunate to have a mom that was against fast foods and always cooked very wholesome meals every single night, religiously, barely ever had takeaways or anything.
Oh man, bless her.
So I grew up with real food. And so when I became a student, I only knew real food. And so I eat real food. I eat mince, I eat beans, I eat potatoes, I eat pastas, I eat rice, I eat not even bread much. I eat like unprocessed food, like wholesome food that I cook myself. Like every day I take food to work. I think that's a huge one for health.
And why do you think that? Can you quickly explain why you think processed food is more unhealthy?
Evolution. We were never designed to eat things that were processed. We evolutionarily evolved to eat things that come out of the ground.
But you're also not a follower of the paleo diet where you only eat like meat and nuts and berries. I mean, as soon as you cut
come out of the ground.
It's processed.
True.
So
But
what
like
does process mean?
Yeah, but like I cut my potatoes once they come out the microwave, not before they go in. Another way I microwave my potatoes, I've been doing it for 10 years. Life hack. If you want to bake a potato, you take it, you poke it with a fork, you put it in the microwave for 5 minutes, it comes out a baked potato. That is literally how I made gains for the whole of university. You've tried my baked potatoes.
Yeah, you really do that. It's very funny. I've never seen anyone do it, but it actually tastes nice.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I learned that from my mom as well.
Hack. It is a life hack.
Yeah.
I should do that more at home, actually. But like, I think what I was hinting towards is more that like processed foods nowadays, when we talk about it, so minced meat is processed meat because you minced it. But processed food that we talk about is like a lot of sugar, a lot of salt, a lot of additives to keep it fresh longer.
Yeah.
Like a lot of shit to make it taste so good that you don't want to put it away.
Yeah.
That's usually a combination of fat and carbs.
Yeah.
And that's so palatable that
donut is a beautiful example of like processed food. I'm very lucky. Another thing, I never was really too attracted to sugars growing up. When I was very young, I was, but like now, you probably know this with me. I have zero sweet tooth. Like, people
so interesting.
can put like chocolates and whatever in front of me. I have zero desire for anything sweet. So I've stayed away from a lot of sugar, which I think is also, and I don't think sugar is necessarily unhealthy. Like there's a lot of sugar in fruit. Fruit's not very processed. I don't think fruit's inherently bad.
Yeah, I think sugar is the processed thing, because then if you have fruits, you have the sugar, but it's inside of
some fibrous thing,
vitamins, whatever. But the sugar is then like just this thing that peaks your insulin.
And also dopamine. I think there's a lot of dopamine release with sugar.
Because biologically speaking, we're always scavenging, looking for resources.
And an apple and a banana and whatever it may
That's
be.
why people find it so hard to stop, because they're actually triggered to keep eating, because there might be a famine later and then you don't have enough.
Yes, exactly. So I think food is a big one, healthy foods. And I think, a lot of people actually intuitively know what they should or shouldn't be eating. If you listen more to the voice inside yourself, just like we know a lot of the answers to the psychological things, not broken things, it's a lot psychological things that are interesting within us that we can use to grow further as people. Intrinsically, the essence of us also knows what we should be putting into our body. If we are able to cut out enough of the noise in the world and just sit with ourselves, you'll find that you listen to not your cravings, but your like authentic desires of the body and these things.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So whole foods, not too much processed.
Whey protein is processed. Get your whey protein in.
Whey protein is an exception.
If you want to get these guns, get your whey protein in.
Yeah, a lot of protein, I think, right?
Yes.
In general, we can say, I mean, we do also like fats and carbs as well. Carb is the best source to perform on, hands down. Like that's just what your body is designed for. Fat is just there to keep your all hormones also running, and it's slower.
look, Tim, I mean, there's a lot of people that will disagree with the statement that you just said. I agree
They can
with
come
it.
and fight me.
They'll
But you
probably
can.
lose.
You
They'll
can,
probably
because I'm
lose.
fucking huge.
But I had this discussion with the doctor who did my vitality. You're gonna do your vitality thing as well,
I
so
am
maybe
going to
you
do it.
can fight her. But she was
Oh,
like,
so
"No,
her?
carbs are useless." So I was like, "Okay, listen, woman. Like maybe you're right, but like I did a marathon and like I needed carbs." And then you know what she said to me? She's like, "I also did a marathon." I'm like, "Okay, props to you." And she's like, I didn't eat carbs. I'm like, well, you didn't do
but
it
what
very
time
fast.
did you run?
She did it sub 4 hours. Okay, I'm like, okay, now this woman is like really like.
But you
into
would have
it.
run it even faster.
No,
with
let me
on
finish.
carb-
Let me finish, right? So then I'm like, so I'm genuinely, I don't hate on people, right? Like I'm genuinely interested. So I'm like saying, okay, tell
Not
me
like
more.
me.
And then she was like, no, the next year. So she trained for another year to run a marathon faster. And then she like carbo loaded for like the 8 days or whatever before your marathon, like, you know, really got, and she did a lot worse because she felt really nauseous and stuff. So I think for me, one of the things that I've learned over the years, there are so many people that are going to tell you everything that you can think of and that you want to hear about food, about fats, about proteins, about carbs. Just want to, oh, my phone died.
Oh no!
I thought it should have been charging, but it died. And my
Hey
laptop's
guys,
going to die.
this is my podcast now.
But I'll finish off what I was saying. Listen to yourself. Like, listen to your body. Try different things. Like, figure out what works for you. Don't let the world tell you like, yes, if you want gains, have protein, but try less. You can still make gains with less protein. You can be vegetarian and make gains. You can be vegan and make gains. Protein's not the be-all and end-all.
100% sure. Yeah. There are also some recent studies that came out that actually showed, and maybe we can link that one. I mentioned this Huberman podcast where they talked about gains and shit, and they basically found out that yes, you have these like core amino acids and shit that meat does have, but like plant-based proteins don't. But apparently it doesn't matter too much. If you do resistance training and you give a group of people meat-based protein and plant-based protein, the gains that those people get are incomparably. So that is really interesting. New study came out. Yeah, I mean, since your camera died.
Yeah, I'm getting my laptop webcam.
Oh, really?
And now I can take a video.
Spicy. And that's even higher definition
No,
because he does webcam sex.
Please subscribe to my OnlyFans.
Yeah, the OnlyFans channel will come out as well. We will see Michael do
way
his
lower quality
leg overextension exercises.
Yeah, but no, it was just to finish off. This is episode number 9. We've talked about gains. We've summarized a lot here. There's already a lot of information about gains. So I think that this is for any wannabe gym bros, any people, girls that are also interested in exercise and wanted a bit more balance. We try to do this episode a bit more relaxed and chilled where we just started talking. We're going to cut in from wherever we see fit. The reason that we did this is because...
What? I don't know.
No, the reason that we took it more casual.
Because it comes more natural and it's better.
Yeah.
Like just better quality video, better quality conversation.
Yeah,
right?
it's less forced. I mean, we did it for episode 6, which has done really well.
1 ago, yeah.
2 ago.
Yeah.
8.
Well, not the last one, but the one before.
So this is 9. So not... Yeah, episode 6.
Okay, I'm not the
don't worry, I do the editing, so it's fine. Okay. Episode 6 was great. When you're watching this, we've recorded 7 and 8, but we haven't released it. 7's ready to be uploaded. 8 I still need to edit, and now this is 9. The next week
we'll have a special one.
Next week we have
special one.
Episode 10.
Stay tuned. Keep watching. Tell it to your mom and your sister and your dad and your dog to subscribe.
I thought you were getting on a rhyme there, bro. You were going to bust it out.
No.
Yeah, episode 10. So that's going to be a big one. Tim, we're almost 10 months into this year. We're only 7 months into this year, and we have 9 episodes. Hey. But by the time we've recorded next week, we'll still be in July. We would have done 10 episodes in 7 months. I think that's good going. That's like 1 point something
that's pretty good.
A month.
Actually, if we don't go on holidays that much, I think for the second part of the year, we can probably pump out more, because I
Yes,
think
2 a month is doable.
2 a month effectively. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then please, if you're watching this, drop in the comments what you want to see from us as
Yeah.
well. I think we can keep going forever.
Yeah.
Because we're like this how do you call it, like the bottomless pit,
Unstoppable force.
unstoppable force. I was thinking bottomless pit of
Yeah.
bullshit, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We're learning, we're growing. This is such an amazing journey for me.
fun,
Some
right?
episodes are going to be amazing, some are going to be really shit. It's okay. It's fine. We're doing this for the process.
Yeah.
We're doing this, I think, for the right reasons. We talked a lot about exercise and doing things for the right or wrong reasons. But I think this podcast we went into with the purest of intentions. At least I believe in my heart that I have the purest of intentions. I think that you do too. And I think
Mine were a
that's
little bit
beautiful.
skewed, but yeah, we don't tell the people.
Shh. Unfamiliar randomness.
Exactly, man.
But yeah, I think that's another episode done. That's a wrap. Thank you
Wrap it
very
up.
much, Tim.
Yeah, thanks.
Any last words you want to say?
Nope.
No. On that note, another one down.
Yeah.
Good stuff.